Okay, let's do it. The Last Adventures is a really exciting departure and new project for Forced Entertainment, and I say that for a number of reasons. Partly because it's taking place in a really extraordinary space. The Maschinenhalle in Gladbeck is this really fabulous old industrial space, and it provides a really amazing kind of context for the kind of performance that we're going to make. Secondly, it's a really exciting project for us because it's the first collaboration that we've made that really uses live music on stage, and it's a collaboration with Tarek Atoui, who's a Lebanese sound artist who's made a lot of work and projects around the idea of sampling and improvisation. And that sets us a kind of great challenge because it means that the work that we make will also have a kind of improvisational fluidity so that we can respond in the moment to what Tarek is doing, just as he is building sound materials around and out of what we're doing. It's also an exciting project, this one, because it's the largest number of performers that Forced Entertainment has ever gathered together for one project. The company is based in Sheffield, and it's a small ensemble. It's 6 people, myself included, and that group has been working together for nearly 30 years. And for different projects we bring sometimes different guests, if you like, to join us to collaborate on performances. And for this particular piece we've gathered a really fantastic group of performers. It's really amazing to have this chance to make something with a really strong international group. The starting point for Last Adventures was the idea of telling in this kind of huge old industrial space a kind of epic narrative. We were talking about fairy tales, about folk stories, about journeys to the underworld, about creation myths, about all these kinds of great narratives. But I think, typically for us, we spent some time on those things and became more interested in, I suppose, the atmosphere and the texture of those things than we were in the details of any particular story. So one of the things that we started to work with was this idea of a kind of epic choreography or animation of the scenery. We began to work with this homemade, kind of very flat 19th century style theatre scenery, and we began to make a kind of animation of that scenery, so a choreography of that scenery. So what you have is a forest that moves, or an ocean that's animated by the performers, or a cloudy sky. It's as if, for those parts of the show, it's almost as if what you've got is, you've got the landscape, you've got the location for a story, but the story for the moment is not visible, it's not seen. So it's all about potential. What you had almost was this idea of a landscape that's waiting for human beings, a landscape that's waiting for action, that's waiting for a story. And of course, as we've gone on in the process, more and more fragments of that story have started to emerge. So you find figures who are lost in those woods, or a great battle that takes place, at the edge of that ocean. And these things all spill into the space of the stage and then disappear again. So it's almost like the piece is a question about story and about memory, about what it takes to, what ingredients we need as watchers, as viewers, to make a story happen. So rather than being told a story, the experience in this project is much more like the experience of finding the story. You're uncovering something. I think all of the piece, in a sense, journeys between a very visual, very choreographic, very image-making kind of sensibility and a kind of sound sensibility. So it's very interested in how things sound.
And I took this branch and I stripped it down and I a small branch in between and I made
It can be the way that a single voice gets swallowed by this sort of extraordinary storm of noise that comes from Tarek. It can be about the footsteps of the performers as they're running on the concrete floor of the venue. It can be about their breathing. So it's a kind of composition through visuals and images. It's a composition through sound, and it's a composition that, perhaps more than anything else, plays with the idea of a story.